into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hi guys, do you know the way to San Jose? Because I certainly have no freaking clue the way to San Jose so far in this season. I just binge watched the first and second episode back to back because I was a little bit behind. I wasn't here last week, but of course I am here this week. Guys, as usual, welcome. Thank you for joining us for the Helix After Show here at AfterBuzz TV. And if you haven't, be sure to go to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV and hit that little subscribe button. Find all your favorite shows there. We do over 300 after shows for AfterBuzz. And be sure to also check us out on SoundCloud and iTunes. Leave a comment there as well, and check us out on Twitter at AfterBuzzTV. I am your host for tonight's episode. Because Matt Lieberman is not here, I will be taking his place only for tonight. I am Stephen Lemieux. You can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, and joined today my partner in crime, you know, the best other co-host on this panel. Don't tell Liz or Matt I said that. We have Zach Wilson.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, Liz Maui also unfortunately wasn't able to join us tonight, but she will return.
She will return, and it will be this is season 2, episode 2. It will be a reunion.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, tying that title back into our conversation. Hashtag Ziz. Guys, did you guys say Ziz last week?
Oh, of course.
Okay, guys,
it's the green and yellow Ziz. It's Puss Ziz.
I kind of want to call it Giz.
Giz?
Because it's green Ziz.
I just went with Puss Ziz.
Puss Ziz?
Hashtag Puss Ziz.
Hashtag Puss Ziz. Oh. Hashtag pun jar on that one. Oh my god, just because how
No, we're
ridiculous.
not instituting that on this show.
Okay.
There's not enough room for
my
that.
wallet can't handle it.
No.
All right, so after watching the episodes back to back and seeing season 2 episode 1 and season 2 episode 2, well, first of all, I was like, okay, so this is The Last of Us?
See, I haven't got a chance to play the game yet. It's literally sitting on my shelf, but
So
fill me in.
Okay, so The Last of Us is a game made by Naughty Dog for the PlayStation, and I don't think it's out on Xbox. I think it's just PS3 and PS4, where it's a post-apocalyptic world where there's this huge. The first part of the game, like literally the first scene of the game, is like the breakdown where there's these people who are covered in plant life. They're covered in this fungus that has taken them over and made them insane, and basically they just run after people and attack people and bite them and things like that. So the spores are what's contagious and turns you into one of them. And there's clickers. There are people who are only a little bit insane who just run after people who see them and attack them. So I can already see in this show that there's the people who are only half infected, so they're kind of insane, just run after people and attack them. And there are people who are really infected who like decide to spray spores everywhere and like only don't really have intelligence, just run after people and attack them, but like their faces are completely turned into like a mushroom kind of thing, like the guy with the stuff out of his mouth. So it is really reminiscent of The Last of Us.
Okay, I see where you're going there, because part of what I was thinking in this episode, and like we're getting started really early on the crazy theories.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have so many.
Look, when you boil a podcast down to Stephen Lemieux and myself, it's gonna be nothing but theories. Like, we've lost any control.
That's not a good thing to say on the second episode. Come on, Zach. We got to keep the listeners for a little bit longer.
No, it's gonna be fun, you guys. But the theories are going to be even more insane than usual.
So,
anyway,
so before you get started, if you guys want to theorize with us, be sure to tweet us. You can tweet me at Stephen Lemieux, StphenLemieux, with the hashtag hashtag ABTV Helix, and you can tweet Zach at that Zach Wilson, THATCA. You do it.
THATZACHWILSON. Yes. Hashtag ABTV Helix.
There you go. And let us know what you guys have theories, because this show is literally every episode. Your theories will completely change. Your theories that you had last week will be like, oh, I'm an idiot. Let me recreate some new ones. Now, Zach, dive into what you were going to say.
Okay. Well, that's the thing. It's like last year we had a bunch of crazy theories. Some of them like sort of got on the right track. We got a couple of them I think were right even, but we had some crazy other ones like Greek gods and stuff running around.
I still stand by.
There's still pieces of that I think may come around. But while I was watching this episode, my main theory was that this is just essentially it's just another form of Arctic biosystems. Like this, Michael is just another Hatake who has been installed in a place to get people together to engineer a virus of some sort in order for Araria or some faction of the 500 to take over the world. And it's just like they're like, well, why are we going to put all of our eggs in the Hatake basket?
I completely disagree.
It also flies completely in the face of one of my more favorite theories from last week.
What was your theory from last week? I didn't watch the after show. Sorry.
What was the theory from last week? Was that this spore virus, is an attempt to kill the Silvers.
Okay, that is the most obvious of the theories. Like when I was watching the first episode, I was like, oh, okay, so he's trying to kill the Silvers. So I had a new theory. Okay, and this was what my theory is, and not saying that your theory is wrong, because it could completely be right, and I could be completely wrong, and I probably am completely wrong because it's only the second episode.
Just to take the swing.
His brother Michael is his name, right? Steven Weber?
Yeah.
Brother Michael or Father Michael, whatever they want.
It's Brother Michael.
Brother Michael, okay. I believe Brother Michael used to work for Araria. I don't believe that he's a Silver, though.
I'm becoming less and less...
See, I think they were trying to trick us with that. It sounds as if you spoke to Charles Darwin kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was like the obvious clue that he's a Silver. I don't think he's a Silver. I don't think that he's an immortal. What I think, though, is that he used to work for Araria. And what I think, though, as well, is that he knows about the existence of the Silvers. He knows all about it, and they wouldn't make him one. So what I believe is going on is he's a geneticist in botany. Like, he understands genetics and things in that respect. So he's trying to create his own Araria with these followers with him at the top. What he's doing through these vegetables and things like that is he is trying to create a new breed of Silver, a new way to become immortal.
Oh, I like that. Because like I wrote down some quotes that he had. He doesn't want they're there so that they don't have to give in to other people's demands. And then he says, by the loss of self, we become truly individuals. He basically is like, and the whole speech about random and how like the world, like when Alan's like saying like, but
not everything has a purpose, it just has a reason.
Yeah. That sounds very much, the thing is that sounds very much like the Silver's like thesis statement.
So what we have to assume right now is that everything, because it's only 2 episodes in, everything that we've seen so far is going exactly to Brother Michael's plan. Everything has reason. What's happened to Soren, how they just left him out there King Kong style, that has reason.
Yeah.
So and the fact that Soren can have a breakdown and then recover from it, that shows progress, is what I see in that. Because one of the very first things in the first episode of the first season was when Hidaki sees Peter Farragut, and he's like, that is progress. And we haven't seen Hiroyuki Sanada in this season yet.
No, but he was cast, right?
Yes.
Okay, so, well, we haven't seen him. We haven't seen Mark Ganame. We haven't seen Miguel Fairchild. Fair Brother. I was close.
Mark Anime, Miguel Fairbrother. We've seen Kira Zagorski. I haven't seen... There's a few people we haven't seen that we're wondering if we can... I mean,
But I know that those people were are in this season. That's the thing. It's like I know that they're at least scheduled to appear at some point. It could be a flashback. It could be a completely other story. We don't know the circumstances.
It could be 30. It could be set in the 30 years later future. It could be set in the present future. Loved how they did that, by the way. With the mouse carcass and how it like aged 30 years and then brought back to you.
We talked about it last week, how basically that moment, like every time they jump to the future, like when they first did it, when they first revealed it, me and Matt lost our stuff. Like,
we need to like record ourselves watching
like
the
we
show.
lost it because like up until that you're like, I don't know where they're going with this. This is weird. How are they on like the same island but they haven't found each other? And then that revelation, it's like, what? I felt that way much. Not that it was like slow because like I really enjoyed this episode, but the moment where they revealed Sarah's the pregnancy. We'll get to that. Get to that. Anyway,
the other thing I wanted to say about my theory is that there's two options that I see right now with where my theory is one. I mean, there's a few options. The one is that he's trying to devise a way to kill the Silvers. Mm-hmm. The other is that he's trying to create a new plan or a new way to become immortal, as the Silvers are. And another one is the Ilaria's hired him to find a way to improve the Silvers. And that would be, you know, how they can survive without eating for so long.
Yeah.
Well, this would be vegetation, trying to combine vegetation with the human genome through letting humans photosynthesize.
Interesting.
Because where I see this actually happening is you have to create a boundary that would push plant life to interact with human life. Because judging from what we've seen on the island, I don't see there being like, oh, we accidentally created a plant that's going to infect humans. Like, it had to be purposeful. Everything has reason.
So if last season's like sort of the what they were trying to do was sort of blend human DNA with that, like how a virus works in terms of spreading, like planting, and then like it spreads and all that, and aggressively spreads. This season is focused on this, like the idea of combining human and plant life and the way that plants spread with like spores or seeds. Maybe that's more where we're going with it.
Something like that.
The one thing I will say to the him being a part of Araria, it doesn't seem like that's where they're going, because I went onto the Helix Access Granted page, and they're still running it this year. It's on syfy.com. And there's 3 things every week, 3 like documents or videos or whatever it's going to be. And there's like an internal Araria memo that's about like the bombing. There's a little article about somebody saw some person killing someone that like contact fell out and they were silver. They had silver demon eyes in Paris. But the last one was an internal Araria memo that says, that's basically like a write-up about the island and Brother Michael. And it's like, Cult has about 150 followers and led by Brother Michael, and says Araria will continue to monitor Saint Germain with continued curiosity and concern.
See, that's what I thought. That makes sense, though. Because I really don't think that Brother Michael is Araria.
Yeah.
I think that...
But could he be... I guess we haven't fully established that Araria is definitely the 500. It could be just a faction of them.
I think we did establish that.
Did we?
I think Araria is run by the 500 Immortals. We
know that it's run by Silvers, and we know that they operate under the thing that there can only be 500. But what if there's like an agreement, basically, the cap of 500, and there are like multiple factions of the Silvers that are like fine with like going off and being against each other, but still operating under that like... There can be no more. I
think it's possible, but I think it's a red herring to chase, because I don't think they'd have enough time to really explain that.
Okay.
And I don't think they'd spend their time explaining it. I think it makes more sense that Araria is a corporation that's world run by the 500.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that's not possible. It's certainly possible.
Yeah, the big question is, how does Brother Michael fit into the Silvers and the Araria puzzle? And we need more information, Helix.
Well, I think that he probably fits in the same way that that they call Alan Brother Jerome. I don't think his name is Brother Michael. I think there's He has a complete past with Ilaria, and I think he is very knowledgeable of everything that's going on with that. And if the first season was a way to eradicate humans, because the Narvik A virus was wide scale epidemic, I feel like this one is a way to control humans, to either control humans or to create his own cult of immortals that can rule over the humans. Because there's no real enemy to Ilaria right now. Because if you think about it, like, there's humans, but there's like 5 people who know about it, really, that are against it, with like the team that we worked with last year.
Not even 5. It's like Sarah and Alan.
An unborn 15-month baby Sarah. So that's like the team. That's like the A team right there. So to bring in another faction, I think this is the other faction. I think the fact that somebody's trying to create immortals on their own would be an interesting plot ploy that have this other faction. And that's the reason why Silvers are being infected by it, is because he's not trying to... Let me just roll with this for a second. He's not trying to make the Silvers better. He's not trying to make... he's not trying to kill humanity. He's trying to make humanity better. So if last season was kill humanity, this is make humanity better, but ends up on the opposite end.
And I mean, it's the question of, like, if you evolve humanity, are you killing humanity to make a new species, or are you taking them to the next level?
I mean, or he could just be like straight up brother Michael Greenpeace and wanting to kill everyone on Earth and bring back the trees. Like, that is also a distinct possibility, that this cult is literally like, hey man, let's just make Lord of the Rings happen and get some Ents up in here. Like,
I mean, that would be great if that was his actual goal. He like read Lord of the Rings as a kid. He's like, I want to make Ents. I want to turn people into walking trees, you guys.
And you know what? Not even just walking trees that attack people and scream out mommy while they do it. I mean, hey, why not? So, excuse me, trying not to get sick, but it's really hard in this season. Everyone, disinfect, wash your hands often, drink a lot of water.
Yeah, and if you're gonna touch some crazy disease spores and blood samples and everything, make sure you are a Silver Eyes.
Exactly. So let's break it down let's go through, is it Jordan?
Sarah Jordan.
Jordan. Let's talk about Sarah Jordan.
I loved this twist. I did. I really enjoyed it.
So, you know what I find really interesting? And I'm calling it now. Second episode of the season, guys. Second episode of the season. Sarah is going to get infected by... what are we going to call this right now? They call it
Pusses.
Like XM113 or something like that. XM radio.
Yeah, it was something. It was some insane virus.
All right, so Sarah's going to get infected by the virus, even though she's immortal, because of her recklessness when she got the blood put on her today. That's going to infect her, but because she's a Silver, it works very slowly, as we've seen with Julia in the future. Because I'm assuming at this point that Julia has been infected for a while, and that's why she went to the island. Just that's my prediction. I'm not saying that it's right or not. Sarah getting affected is going to make the pregnancy start moving forward.
Oh, because if all the infection does is
start aging again,
is make if you treat the Silver Eyes as like a shield, let's say, you lower it down to 30%, so like 70% of aging is getting in now.
So
interesting.
Also, I'm calling it right now that what's his face in the future is Sarah's son.
We talked about that last week. I mean, I like the theory. I mean, it'll depend on what they do now with this pregnancy. It's 30 years in the future, right?
30 years in the future.
So yeah, if
she looks about 28.
Yeah, if she gives birth during this season, then yeah, the timing works out.
Yeah, plus the way he reacted when she said Alan Farragut. So like, I think
he knows the name.
And honestly, I don't even think that's going to be a big twist. I think they want it to be pretty obvious that he's her son. Because, I mean, it's 30 years later. You can't really guess much in that 30-year time. They could say he's 25. They could say he's 27. They could say that he was born 4 years later or whatever. But I feel like maybe in 1 or 2 episodes we're going to find out who he is, if he's Alan and Sarah's son or not. Because I don't think that's like a really huge jump to assume. But I really think that now that we've seen Julie as a Silver Eyes and she is infected, I see Sarah getting reckless, not using gloves or anything in this lab, gets the blood on her hand. That's the start of her being infected. I see the pregnancy starting to move forward.
Okay.
And what I'm interested to know about is she's been pregnant for 15 months, which is 6 months past the due date. I'm wondering if that means that it's going to accelerate the pregnancy because it's so far along, and if she becomes more mortal through infection, if within a month she's already at like late term pregnancy.
Interesting. Like it plays catch up.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that because they wouldn't show her get the infection on her hand. They wouldn't talk about her pregnancy unless they're obviously going to bring that in. And I just think that the only thing that's going to get Alan to be there for her would be a baby.
Okay.
Because like right now it's like get off the island, or you're going to die because he can't break his cover. But when you bring a baby into it, now if she gets in a situation, he's going to have to save the baby because that's just how he is. He's not going to jeopardize the life of his son or daughter. I guess it could be daughter because we're not completely wrong at this point for that. So that's what's going on with Sarah. She's getting reckless. She's gone through...
She's putting on hard rock music.
No, I don't think she put on the music. I think that's just like, yeah. But
the subtitles, because I was watching it with the subtitles on, it just, when it started playing, it just said generic rock music.
Doing chemistry without gloves. But you know what's really interesting with her character, though, is what I'm looking at, is when you go back to, what was the name of the guy chained up in the basement?
That was Gunther, I believe.
Gunther, I forgot his last name. But yeah, so he said the thirst, the hunger, the things like that, and he calls it a curse. He calls immortality a curse. You look at Sarah, she's immortal, but she's been pregnant for 15 months, and she goes through the list of symptoms. She's like, I've been morning sick, I've been getting nosebleeds, I've been getting anxiety and things like that for 15 months. So her immortality as well is also becoming a curse. So yeah. I'm interested to see her feelings, because the last time we really saw her was when she finds out she's pregnant and when she finds out she's immortal and like the effect that has on her. So now if she finds out that she's actually dying...
Yeah, I mean, not all the Silvers could have been like turned into that like at just the right moment. They can't all be Jerry Ryan, like perfect form, or like the badass, like slightly older man of Hiroyuki Sanada.
Oh, Jerry Ryan.
I mean, you had the Scythe from last year, who was like, he looked like a 14-year-old kid.
I can't remember. Did he die in the end or no?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, he's alive.
Okay.
The Scythe is still in play.
Okay. Because he'd be interested to come back, even if it's like they can't mention him, but if he's one of the kids at the Institute or at the Brotherhood.
At the
cult. Like if he's a kid in the cult, I think that'd be kind of interesting. A way to bring him back, just because, I mean, there's... Anyway. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Alan.
Brother Jerome. We finally got him back. Like, I was like, last week, we're like, where's Alan? Come on.
I mean, you know he was going to be on the island.
Yeah, it's pretty...
He's going to be on the island.
I wasn't, like, surprised, per se, that he was there, but it was a good, like, surprise. As much as it was.
As soon as they showed the grave, I was like, oh, so he's on the island as one of the Brotherhood. Okay, got it. So Julia's looking for Alan. And
you're calling the island cult the Brotherhood.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's lots of sisters there.
Brotherhood. Bros before sisters.
And it seems like... Sorry, not to get too far off Alan, but like it seems like the island is sort of run by... traditionally women over the years, because we had I don't remember the sister's name that is like in the meeting with Michael, and she's like, I don't trust these people, we should get rid of them right now. Oh, we need them.
Isn't that Sister Anne?
Is that Sister Anne?
Yeah, she's the resting bitch face one.
Sure.
Yes,
I know
Anne
I know how you're referring to her.
It's Sister Resting Bitch Face.
Anyway, she's talking to him about they've entrusted me with their legacy.
Oh yeah, that's Sister Anne. She's talking about, I've been here since the beginning. My mother's mother, and my mother's mother. So another theory from her saying that I had was that another possibility for them trying to mess with the plants or whatever they're doing is to cure the genetics from... He also talks about the 7 strains of plant life and how you change one thing and it can lead to another plant life and things like that. And it makes me think of the incestuous generations that must have taken place on this island. And if one is to try to fix those things, you would have to be, let's say, a geneticist. I mean, the only thing that goes against that theory is that they accept new people. So I'm not sure how rare of a case Alan is or how many people in this cult are actually from the outside world. But I imagine there has to be generations of inbreeding within these people, right? I mean,
not if you keep bringing in new people. That's enough room that, as long as you're introducing, 5 or 6 new people every generation, that's enough to keep the... Another
thing that I was thinking about, too, is that the possibility of Sister Anne being an immortal. Because she says, I've been holding this place down for the familial generations or whatever past my legacy, and it's her mother, her mother's mother, mother's mother, mother. Maybe
what if it's not her mother and her mother's mother? It's just her every time.
Maybe that, but also there's obviously more to this island when they go underground and you see the catacombs all spread out throughout the island. It's obviously used to be a base or something of some sort. And the one thing we learned about the Araria Corporation is they've spanned back so long ago.
Yeah.
All right, this just came to mind. The one problem I had with the pilot of the first episode of the season is when the Coast Guard, when Peter pulls rank saying, "This island is 20 miles off the coast of Seattle. This is a national emergency, and I order you to go to this island." I'm like, okay, cool. 20 miles off the coast.
Okay, you've made him into this gruff, angry
All right, anyway, so 20 miles off the coast of Seattle. And then they dropped them off the island, and she says, "This island is..." I went back into the guy voice for her. She says, "Okay, but the Coast Guard won't be back for another 2 weeks, and this island is way out of helicopter range." It's 20 miles.
Yeah, all right.
That's out of everything I've seen, that is the only time I was like, really?
Yeah, all right. I didn't even catch that, but you're right. 20.
I was like, it's 20
unless
miles.
they're 400 miles out to sea, and even then, it's the helicopters are good.
Yeah, if a helicopter can fly from LA to San Francisco, I'm pretty sure it can fly from Seattle to 20 miles off the coast.
Yeah, and helicopters are not long range, but 20 miles they can handle.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I've picked out. All right, and that's nitpicky. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys, but it's so rubbed me the wrong way.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't. I'm not sure what to make of the cult yet, because there's so many things at work there that we just we don't understand why they were pulling the teeth. They send, there's I don't know if they're appeasing some outside tribe or something with this guy that comes in and is hello, and he grabs the kid and runs away.
So who did they pull teeth out of?
It was just I didn't think it was a woman, but you had a thought on this.
Okay, so if you didn't think it was a woman, did you think it was that boy?
No, it was a woman.
It was a woman.
Yeah, it was a woman. I don't know who it was.
So the girl, what's the new Sergio Ballesteros guy name?
I just call him Big Tex. I think his name's Kyle.
Okay, Big Tex, who looks a little bit like Mark Anime. So Big Tex, the woman who was flirting with him, I think it was her. The one getting all hot and heavy with him.
You brought this up just before we came in here, so I haven't had a chance to go back and look. It's really intriguing. I think her name was Sister Amy, if I'm not mistaken. There's a couple of different sisters, so it's hard to keep track. But
so another thing is that when you see a few things when they're shoving that tube down her throat and pumping her full of fungus juice or pusses or whatever the hell it is, you see a bunch of jars that are obviously labeled. And
juice.
I'm imagining that they're teeth. They're all different teeth. So what I'm wondering is if they're keeping everyone's DNA and then experimenting on everyone and seeing how they all react differently to different strains. Because, again, what he said with the plant life, saying there's 7 genomes the plants can turn into. So I'm wondering if he's basically playing a numbers game, trying to get one person out of that 7 to go a certain way with this virus, or with this fungal virus, or whatever it is. So if he gets that one person to go that way, that's what he'll then, like, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Because he's basically trying to evolve a human-plant hybrid through hitting that 1 out of 7 and hitting that 1 out of 7 several times until he gets what he wants. And that's why these are histories and ages of experimentation on the colony since the beginning that woman's great-great-grandmother had started on. So I'm wondering how he's related. He has to be either a relative or he has to be a Silver Eyes.
Yeah. That's why I think he, like, as much as I know you think it might be a red herring, it just fits so well for him to be a silver. Like, he's very controlling. He seems to have some bigger goal, not just for these people and not just for this generation, but for all of, like, he seems like he has bigger goals in mind, worldwide goals. And the way that they, like, praise him is godlike. Like, they talk about how much he, like, can guide them. And, like, that's what you do for someone who has simply been running this island for 8 generations, if it's really the same person.
See, that's the thing. You know what, guys? Tweet at us.
Yeah, I'm curious what you guys think, because, like, we're sort of at a... I mean, this is the thing. It's Helix. Like, we still have 11 episodes to go. It's early days here. There's a lot more that we have to go. So it's hard to make really informed guesses on these crazy swings.
It's really just tweet at us. Let us know if you think that he is a silver or if he's not. If he's not a silver, somebody else is running the scheme who's been around since the beginning of the start of this island. And if he is a silver, then he's the one, and he's just been mentor to that woman's family since the beginning.
Yeah, that's what I think, is either he's a silver defector or maybe or there's some different factions of silvers or something. That's where my head is at.
Because this whole island thing and the fact that there's been a community on this island for so long, what it screams a long history of human experimentation. It makes me think that this entire place for the past 200 years has been a place to build a community and experiment on them over time.
Yeah. And
it's still, I don't know why, it's just that 7 when he talks about the plants going into 7 different areas, just, it stuck with me. And I really think it's taking the 7, taking the 1 out of 7 and moving forward, taking the 1 out of 7, moving forward. And we're at an end term level of where that has led us.
Yeah. No, I like it.
You know where else this has led us, Zach?
Where's that?
It's led us directly to iTunes, where you guys can go on iTunes and download this as a podcast, listen to us on your drive to work or from work, or just at home if you don't have a job. And be sure to go to iTunes, downloads, give us 5 stars and a comment. If you leave a comment, you know what we'll do, Zach?
What's that?
We'll give you a shout out.
That's so
on
awesome.
The air.
Do we have any shout outs today?
We have a shout out from someone who commented last week, and you know what? Eric464, everyone knows your name now because you went on iTunes, you left us a comment, and 5 stars. So, Eric464, that's Eric ERICK. You know, you gotta have the K at the end. Helix is another show where I'm the only one I know who watches it. It is such a good show, and I'm glad AfterBuzz is doing a podcast for it. The hosts do an excellent job discussing the show, just as they have done with the previous season. I'm looking forward to the show every week, and I hope there are more guests. On a side note, I've been a longtime fan of AfterBuzz, and I'm so impressed with how much it has grown, and I hope it continues to go above and beyond.
Huzzah.
That's a good comment.
Thank you, Eric.
If more people left comments like that, we'd be happy campers. Make us happy campers. Go to iTunes. So
can we talk a little bit about, like, the rest of the CDC team, like Pete, Big Tex, all these. Well, while we're still coming off of the whole sisters and all that, WTF? with the seduction of big techs. What happened there?
That felt so much like Species. Like, that literally was like a scene out of Species where she's like talking to him 1 second, and then like when she's just like, be my path!
Be my path. Yeah, that was, for the record, be my path is not a sexy thing to say to
just
somebody.
To keep with the Lord of the Rings references, it was literally Bilbo when he sees the ring, be my path! Like, she went demon mode for a second, and she was thirsty.
Well, I mean, I guess be my path, they must have been raised on this idea of like finding your path. And like that being the, like, maybe it's that they can't find what, like, their life, they can't be like a real person until they find their path in life. That's sort of where I feel like the place it must come from. So her path is like hooking up with this dude. Like, she just wants to get laid. Like, I guess choices are limited on the island. Like, Saint Germain's only 400 square miles, or no, they're 400 miles. Oh, he did say they're 400 miles away from shore.
Did he?
Yeah, in this episode, he says we're 400 miles from the closest fast food restaurant.
Then why would they say they're 20 miles away from Seattle?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, he says they're 400 miles away. So that would put them out of helicopter range.
Maybe what he was meaning was the boat that they were investigating was 20 miles out of Seattle.
That must have been
Maybe
it.
that's what they were talking about.
I think that's what it was.
Okay.
Cleaned up.
Zach, I have a side note right here. And
what's that?
I just am really kind of taken aback. If you guys watch our after show for Sleepy Hollow, me and Zach are hosts on this, and it's probably going to be deleted soon, but Katia Winters, who plays Katrina, just tweeted out, all I can do is my very best with what I'm given.
All right. No.
I'm sorry.
This is not a topic.
I'm sorry.
We will talk about this
crazy.
tomorrow on the Sleepy Hollow podcast.
What time is that at, Zach?
That is going to be at 7:30 p.m., I believe, tomorrow evening.
Anyway, check us out on AfterBuzz TV talking about Sleepy Hollow. Cross promotion.
Try to stay on topic,
okay.
Steven. God.
I'm terrible. Okay, but yeah, she's crazy. That really felt like when I saw that scene with her coming on to second Sergio pretty hard. I literally thought that made me think she was the one from the end of the first episode that they were dumping stuff into, and she was trying to get him to totally like put a seed in her.
Oh, well,
like
she grew up learning. If it's all the vegetation stuff, she's just like, I need seeds. Like, clearly that's what Michael wants. He likes seeds. And
but God damn. No, but like they pumped her full of something that she has to get pregnant now and give birth to the next generation of
interesting
the evolved version of human plant life, baby plant.
And she needs an outside man. And I guess like if you're worried about the gene pool, if this guy's going to be there and then leave, if she can just get knocked up before it goes, then they don't even have to worry about keeping him around. They've just expanded the gene pool.
Yeah, I say go for it, second Sergio. Go for it.
He is no Sergio.
I'm just going to call him second Sergio.
No, he's big Tex. He's big Tex.
Hashtag second Sergio. So another thing that's going on is Sarah and Alan. So their little storyline that's going on. She goes to the Apple. She sees him when he's walking outside, and then she sees him in the church when Soren comes in, has his freak out, acting like a misbehaved child who's covered in plants.
Yeah, by the way, I have an uncle named Soren. That made me smile when I heard the name Soren. No one uses that name.
So,
continue.
She finally gets a moment to talk to Alan out in the apple field, and Alan gives the symbol for run like hell.
Yeah.
So naturally, she goes to Peter and is like, hey, Peter, he said run like hell. And he says, don't talk to him, which is interesting because this is the first time I remember, or this is the first time that it came to mind that Peter is a betrayer and has been working closely with Araria since the beginning.
Yeah. So here's what this says to me. It's one of two things. Either Peter knows that Alan is here and is like, trying, but like through all the stuff, they like had to come to the island, so he can't like pretend. He has to pretend not to know about whatever's going on. That's sort of my. I'm not as sold on that. Other than that, I think it's that he is hunting down Araria, or hunting down Peter for Araria. That's like his responsibility. So if he interacts with Alan, he then is going to have to tell Araria that like he's there, or Alaria's going to find him. And Peter's just trying. So
he's trying to protect Alan.
He's trying to protect Alan by just like ignoring him completely.
I like that. I also think that at the same time as that, they have different goals. I think Peter is trying to take what they're doing here and find out about it for Araria, and I think Alan is trying to destroy everything they're doing there.
All right.
Because we find out that Alan got the flash drive that had the location of the island from somebody who worked at Araria while he was looking for Julia Walker.
Yeah, he kills that silver woman.
Yeah, who gave him a flash drive, and it's something he's looking for. So this could be the origin. This could be the origin story of the Silvers, perhaps, or something like that. It could be the prequel to The Last of Us.
That is something I want by the end of this season. I want at least some of the Silvers' origin story told to us. I want to know where they came from. That's my big want for this season.
So she goes and then ambushes Alan in his room. I want to sleep with you, Alan.
I believe the line was, "Sleep with me again, Alan."
Sleep with me again,
in
Alan.
Drug-induced cancer state.
Yeah, and then she talks to him about, oh my God, the cancer would come back if she gets infected too.
Oh, it might. Well, I mean, if cancer is...
Well, it was cured when she
cured, then it wouldn't necessarily come back.
Yeah, that's true. So she goes to his room.
Growing in her womb. Sorry.
That's messed up. Calling babies cancer and stuff.
Just kidding.
Anyway, so she goes to his room and they talk, and he literally will not tell her anything. And she's like, she plays the baby card. She even plays the baby card, and he won't even talk to her about anything. He's just like, I can't tell you. It's too dangerous. So,
I mean, because he knows if he tells her like what he's actually up to, she's gonna stay. And if she stays, his cover's gonna get blown. If he's really there to destroy it, which I think it seems like pretty clear that he is.
Because he already picked a really good cover calling himself Brother Jerome.
I mean, I think there's a certain amount of acceptance of like, you changed your name. We don't care.
Yeah.
Now you're Jerome.
Exactly. You have become Jerome. Welcome to the Brotherhood. So that's what's going on there, and we find out Sarah's been pregnant for 15 months. Like, yeah. We've already talked about our predictions on that.
Can we talk about that crazy moment where they're getting charged by...
yeah, that's what we're getting into.
Yeah.
So they want to chase down Isaac after they find this kid. Soren gets better in the hospital, and they're wondering why, because he's asymptomatic, but he's still infected because they still think he's really contagious. So they want to chase down Brother Isaac, who they saw running through the church earlier with the same symptoms as Soren, and they go down to these catacombs. People love it when we say catacombs. Underground pathways to find him, and Peter's down there, and Isaac's running at him. Meanwhile, they decide to split up. Second Sergio thinks it's a great idea to split up like Scooby and the gang, and freaking let just Peter go alone with two non-named cronies who run away as soon as like anything happens.
I mean, all that aside, like what really stood out to me in that scene, first of all, killer performance by Neil Napier.
Neil Napier?
Napier. I always pronounce it wrong. I apologize, Neil. That moment where he froze was great to me, because I'm calling it PTZD, post-traumatic Ziz disorder. Because he's having flashbacks. He dealt with exactly this thing, and it's like why I sort of see it's a huge parallel between last season and this season. Like the virus that instantly triggers violent rage, but there's still some cognitive thinking abilities in there. Mm-hmm. Like this is a next evolution because this guy can talk. Like they can communicate more.
And did you listen to what he said? He said, "You shouldn't be down here. Leave or I'll kill you."
Yeah.
So that makes me think there's something down there that they don't want him to find yet.
Do you think it's something that Michael is hiding down there, or that the?
I think it's that the whole community is hiding down there, but only the
well,
top
that's what I
people
mean.
know
Like
about.
the cult is hiding versus like if the infected are a whole other subsection, much like last season we had the Vectors as like this community that was growing and like anointed like their Vector King and all that stuff.
I feel like it's similar to Hataki's work in that it's like the legacy. Like he was trying to do something different than what they wanted him to do. That was his legacy. So when she says that my family's legacy is here, I feel like it's everything down there is everything they've been building towards for the greater good. But in their case, because this show's very good about showing which is good and which is evil, even though and saying that there's no real line. It's like everyone thinks they're doing the good thing in their own mind.
Yeah. Well, the best villains think they're the hero.
Yeah, exactly. So these people are doing it for their own greater good, and I feel like their whole years and years of legacy are down there. And this whole island is covered in bones. Let's not forget that. Like, there's thousands of people who were on this island before even this community. So in that, I see like a Full Metal Alchemist kind of thing where... Have you ever watched that show?
I haven't.
If you've ever watched Full Metal Alchemist, you'll probably get the reference. I don't want to give any spoiler or anything. But yeah, a previous community that is sacrificed for the next community is kind of interesting. Because if you do get this 1 out of 7, per se, then you're going to want more of that 1 out of 7 in his type, but you don't want anyone to contaminate that, so you got to get rid of everyone else. So you get maybe...
You lost me a little bit. Before we run out of time, can we jump 30 years into the future and talk about day 10,952?
Okay.
Because they found the bones at Alan Farragut's grave, and Julia picks up the skull and is like, "This isn't Alan Farragut."
Yeah, it's a female skull.
And
then they find the map on the...
they find a map on the bones, and the kid just like, it's like, "I gotta go. This isn't suspicious at all. Run!"
Yeah, I don't want to be here. And then he takes her to the place, and he's only going to take her as far as the river, but I have a feeling he's going to take her further than that. And it's a place on the island they're not supposed to go. I'm imagining the place on the island they're supposed to go is...
Do you think it's like this little skull island, little like skull patch?
Well, I think it's the place that the president's set in, isn't it?
No, because they're around there.
They're around there. Okay, well, I'm not sure then. I don't think we've seen it yet then.
Possibly. I mean, maybe it's wherever the...
It might be the original labs.
Maybe. It could be wherever these other people are. Because, like, the guy who, like, showed up and grabbed the kid, like, wherever he's living, if he has, like, a whole group with him, maybe it's there.
Well, they kept one guy, and then... Well, talking about the kid really quick, because we only have a minute or two left. They have the one guy, Isaac... who takes Soren.
Was that Isaac?
That was Isaac.
Oh, I thought it was just like... Because he had so many more boils on his face.
Yeah, that was Isaac.
I assumed it was... Oh. I just assumed it was somebody else because of how progressed the virus was.
Yeah, so that was Isaac, and Isaac took Soren, who was another infected. So, I mean, we could theorize about this for hours.
Forever. Should we go to predictions?
Yeah, go to predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV.
Really what I'm thinking at this point is that it's been a history of starting communities, getting the control samples, and then killing everyone else in the community, and starting a community with the control samples, and then getting new ones, and then killing everyone else in the community, and just starting that over and over and over again to keep building the...
I like that, because that's how you... manipulate plants. That's how you find the one that has the right gene and burn the rest of the crop and just keep reproducing that one over and over and over again until you have exactly the type of strain that you want.
Exactly. So I think that we're on the verge of a purge.
Yeah, they did mention in the next
Did you like that rhyme?
I heard it. I'm ignoring it. They did mention seed manipulation. We saw Sarah get stabbed in the stomach.
Yeah.
So like that'll clean up your baby problem quick, I guess. Clean up was the wrong word.
Oh my God, Zach.
It would cause. I mean, if getting stabbed in the stomach, regardless of what stage you're at in a pregnancy, it could cause a miscarriage at very minimum. What?
I hate you, Zach. Anyway,
and there's people in the woods. There's other people in the woods. And at this point, I hear other people in the woods on an island.
Lost.
It's lost.
All right, let's not say that, though, because Javier Grillo-Marjoix is an associate executive producer.
I'm just saying,
he was
like,
on Lost, the writer for Lost.
I've watched that series through like three times. I'm a huge fan of that show. I love that show, and I love Javi's work on it. I hope that we can steer clear of it.
So I'm thinking that in the next few episodes, we're going to find out that the other people on the island are the survivors from the previous colonizations.
Oh, okay.
So they're going to be the ones that survived the purge.
So then what would be the purpose of giving Soren over to them?
I think Soren might be one of the new controls.
Oh, interesting.
Because if Isaac and Soren...
Because he survived.
Exactly. So if they're giving Soren to Isaac, or if the bald guy knows about the purge and Soren is one of the controls, he's trying to delay the purge by giving Soren away, so they have to wait longer before they can have to wait to get more control.
Interesting.
I don't know.
All right.
Everything is so
Tons of
conjecture at
stuff.
this point.
Let us know on YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff what you guys are thinking.
Where can they find you, Zach?
You guys can find me on Twitter at @ZachWilson, ThatzachWilson, and a whole bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz. Agent Carter comes back this week, as well as Sleepy Hollow tomorrow night. Thank you guys for tuning in.
And you can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, StephenLemieux. Check me out on the Helix and Sleepy Hollow after shows. And coming up in February, Better Call Saul. We will see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Brown
Views expressed herein
People
are those of the
Edition.
hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.